right now we have only a few short weeks before WrestleMania. But before WrestleMania, we got to talk about a few things. I mean, other than WrestleMania, we got a few things to talk about, I should say, and that includes Sonata winning the New Japan Cup. Sonata, it was announced. Sonata won the New Japan Cup earlier today, defeating defeating I believe it was it not Kyle Fletcher or Mark Davis? Oh, David Finlay. It was a very fitting it was a very fitting finals, as both men, David Finlay and Sonata, are in new realms of their careers, with David Finlay joining the Bullet Club after the departure of Jay White earlier this year, and Sonata forming his own faction. I believe it's called the Five Guys or something of that variety, as he decided to walk away from Los Ingobernables de Japón, saying that he had accomplished everything he possibly could in Los Ingobernables, and needed to branch out and go in a different direction to be able to accomplish more in New Japan. And clearly, that is exactly what he did, as now he is the number one kid, as he now will face the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Okada at New Japan Sakura Genesis for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. With now the eyes being on New Japan, because not just because of the joint show with Impact Wrestling next week on March 30th, but also the fact that this means that the next tournament from New Japan is the G1 Climax. I would say that New Japan number is the basic main proof of when you do a tournament, make the tournament worthwhile, because although, it makes people excited about the tournament, and the tournaments in New Japan, whether it be the G1 Climax, the New Japan Cup, the IWGP, the Junior Heavyweight Tournament, or this what's it called, the Super Juniors, the best set of Super Juniors. All those matches, all those tournaments are worthwhile and have a proven track record of success, and New Japan fans love each year when those tournaments come, because they know they're going to see some of the best action that they've seen all year, and also some incredible matches that they might not be able to see, especially during the G1 Climax, as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion always participates in the G1. And for lack of a better word, the G1 Climax has a track record of somewhat giving the fans the opportunity to imagine what they could see at Wrestle Kingdom the following year. But now we move over back to WWE and back to WrestleMania, as it was announced last night on Raw that, it was rumored, I should say, from WrestleVotes, that one of the tag teams in the Fatal 4-Way Showcase match at WrestleMania, specifically the women's match, was said to be Chelsea Green and Carmella. But Chelsea Green was a part of a backstage segment with Piper Niven last night, and basically announced that she was going to start teaming up with Piper Niven. So now the question is, will the showcase? Well, I guess the question is, what happened to Carmella? To be honest with you, what happened to Carmella? Because why was Carmella removed from the match and replaced with Piper Niven? Not to say that Carmella deserves a WrestleMania match more than Piper Niven. It's more to say that if Carmella was advertised, then unless she's injured, why is she out of the match? That's the best way. That's the best question I could ask is, if she's not injured, why is she out of the match? That's my best. That's the best question I have, and the fact of the matter is, I don't know that we'll find out. But what we do know is that Piper Niven and Chelsea Green will join Natty and Chauncey, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in the WrestleMania, the Women's WrestleMania Showcase match, where the likely winner will challenge the Women's Tag Team Champions, Becky Lynch and Lita, the following night on WrestleMania Night 2, as there were rumors that the Women's Championship match will still take place. The Women's Tag Team title match will still take place at WrestleMania, even with the Tag Team Champions competing in a six-man the night before against Damage Control. It is entirely possible that with the rumor that Trish Stratus will be turning heel following WrestleMania to have a summer feud with Becky Lynch, it is entirely possible that with that being said, Trish Stratus could be the one that costs Lita and Becky Lynch the tag team titles. But I guess that is something we're going to have to wait and find out. But also at WrestleMania, and I will point out that I did a lot better talking about the showcase match this time than I did last time, because last time was a bit of a clusterfuck. But also at WrestleMania, Edge challenged Finn Balor. I know the match was announced already, but Edge challenged Finn Balor to bring back the Demon. He challenged Finn to bring back the Demon at WrestleMania and bring the Demon to hell. He challenged Finn to bring the Demon to hell because Finn and Edge will be colliding at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell, and Edge wants the Demon back at WrestleMania. I think it would be fitting for Finn Balor to bring back the Demon at WrestleMania, especially if it's there to cap off the rivalry between him and Edge. Honestly, I think we will go further in depth into this later on as we get closer to WrestleMania, which we will go over the schedule before the end of this news video, or maybe in the next video. We'll see what happens. But the fact of the matter is, we will go through this more in depth by my prediction of the match, or what I expect to happen at WrestleMania between Edge and Finn Balor. But the fact of the matter is, this will be the end of the feud, and the question is, what's next for Edge after WrestleMania if it is the end of his time against the Judgment Day? Speaking of the Judgment Day, we will in fact be talking about the Rhea Ripley stuff in a second, but I just wanted to get to this week's episode of Main Event, as Charlie Dempsey went against Shelton Benjamin and Nathan Frazier went against Bronson Reed, as it had been a couple of weeks, it feels like, since the NXT Faithful have been up on the main roster competing on Main Event. So it is very good to see the NXT standouts, especially two perfect picks in Charlie Dempsey and Nathan Frazier, being up on the getting their taste of life on the main roster. Now we got a free agent and a free agent announcement. We had a free agent announcement yesterday, I do believe, as Goldberg's contract with WWE is officially done. Goldberg was last seen in action last February at Crown Jewel Elimination Chamber, I should say, against Roman Reigns in a losing effort to the Tribal Chief, of course, but also Goldberg was a part of the A&E broadcast last year. Goldberg was a part of the A&E broadcast last year, having his own biography and having his story told, a part of that series. But it is good. I'm glad that Goldberg, number one, got to go out on his own. But I don't think anybody expected that Goldberg's contract with WWE would have lasted. Get this. He came back in 2016 to have that feud with Brock Lesnar, and Goldberg had been around ever since. Goldberg had been around ever since that match with Brock Lesnar back in 2016 at the Survivor Series. That is insane that Goldberg's run in WWE was longer than his run in WCW, number one, but that it went as long as it did. Props to Bill Goldberg for staying in shape and relevant for this long, even though I think a lot of people were happy to see Goldberg leave. I'm happy to see him go out on his terms. But now we jump over to Impact Wrestling and the possibility of Mercedes Mone jumping over to Impact Wrestling, maybe as a part of the joint show with New Japan next week, setting something up with Mickie James as the Knockouts champion and the IWGP Women's champion, respectively. It is surprising to me and a testament to how backward WWE's booking was on the women's division when Mickie James was under contract, and to a degree still is, that WWE chooses to not have Mickie James, that they chose not to have Mickie James against Sasha Banks when they had the opportunity to have Mickie James against Sasha Banks, because that, in my opinion, was a money match, or would have been a money match. You know, that, in my opinion, would have been a money match if they chose to have it at the time that they did. Or that, if they chose to have it at the time that they could have, I should say. But the fact that that match never happened is, number one, a shame, and in my opinion, something that should happen in the not too should happen if the opportunity presents itself. And now we move to the Rhea Ripley situation, and this is this is something that I commented on social media, which is this is something that I will comment on, but I will save it for the next video as we're running along in this video, and I don't want to give you guys a 15-minute news video, so I will save that for the next video, and basically that's the point of me doing 3 videos. Either way, see you in the next news video. We got a breakdown of Raw and a little bit more information for WrestleMania, but maybe I'll do a side video too. Let's just see what happens. Either way, this is the craziness of WrestleMania weekend, and also don't forget Impact Wrestling and New Japan joint show on March 30th. March 31st is Supercard of Honor from Ring of Honor on March 31st, alongside the Go Home episode of SmackDown, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and, of course, our normal preview of Rampage. I may also do a preview of SmackDown, as it is a special edition of SmackDown, that being the Go Home show to WrestleMania. And then, April 1st, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1, and then April 2nd, WrestleMania Night 2, and then, of course, April 3rd, the night after the Raw after WrestleMania, which is always a special edition of Monday Night Raw. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.